Have you ever wondered what the original purpose behind some of the most common items or organizations in the world today are? The monkeys have scoured the web to find the answers to these irrelevant and useless questions. You're welcome. Today we'll be discussing things like slinkies, Viagra, and chainsaws? Welcome to another episode of the Monkeys Unfiltered podcast, where we use our very limited free time to record a podcast that no one listens to. Welcome to the two people who actually took the time to do so. We appreciate you.
Wait, those two people deserve some intro music.
Get ready for unfiltered banter, laughs, and a barrel of fun. This is Monkeys Unfiltered.
All right, then.
All right, coffee down. Let's do this thing.
It's 8:30 at night, dog. What do you mean coffee?
Decaf, fool.
Yeah, fool.
I say 8:30 on a Tuesday.
Well, let's be clear. I thought decaf was for wimps, and then
You learned your limp.
well, I mean, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, I just decided that I do want to sleep at night, so there you go.
That's fair.
Normally it doesn't affect me, but like as I get older, it starts becoming more and more like it matters.
Well, as you both know, my husband can drink an entire pot of coffee and be asleep within 10
cow.
minutes.
Yeah.
That's what I did in college.
Yep.
I
You can
drank
do that
I
with
drank
energy drinks, not coffee.
I drank 10 cups of coffee every single day when I was in college.
Wow.
Like it
That's
was
a lot.
So here's the thing. I did a stress test about a year ago. Perfect.
Well,
I'm like,
listen,
no way.
right. My husband just had to have a physical for life insurance. Flying colors. I'm like,
What?
excuse
Your husband eats some nonsense.
me?
He told me about the gift basket he got for his birthday.
For his birthday, after we just had a conversation about how he really wanted to cut back on sugar, he's like, I guess it'll have to wait another couple of weeks.
Yeah, he said he downed a whole box of Mike and Ike's in one sit.
He does. He's like, chuck, 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 chuck.
Look, I don't blame him.
Not
When I
even
was
that
younger, I
good.
used to eat Mike and Ike's all the time.
Well, he's not younger.
Well, yeah, fair enough. You know what? He's young in spirit.
He is. He is. And nobody believes my husband's the age that he is. Every time his age comes out, people go, what?
Yeah, I know I don't.
Yeah. I got accused once of robbing the cradle, and I'm like, excuse me?
Okay. I think I want to start with like a relatively simple one. So
Oh.
again, to remind everybody, this episode is going to be what the original intent of things were versus what they're used for now. So a quite obvious one that everyone should really know about is that Amazon used to only sell books.
Only sell books.
Yep.
Mhm.
Only sell books.
Now they're a multinational conglomerate of online shopping of various materials, including books. And just anything else you can think of.
Book.
Read a book.
Radio. Shout out to Wayward Monkey on that one. That's his
Right.
favorite little skit.
Nope.
Okay, roll it in.
You started it.
I know. Sorry. Well, as I was preparing for this episode and I shared with you both, I was like, why does this seem vaguely familiar to me? Because I had done some similar research for this for something else. And I was like, oh, great. I'll just go back to that list. And I have on this list auto-tune. Everyone knows what auto-tune is, right? So it's kind of hard to imagine today's pop music scene without auto-tune.
Right.
But originally, auto-tune was created by a research engineer in the oil industry, Dr. Andy Heidbrand. I don't know.
Fact check true.
Yeah. But it was an algorithm he created that would use seismic waves to create surface maps so they could find the oil. But that algorithm wound up fine-tuning voices, and now it's used in the music industry.
Interesting.
I found it very interesting. I was like, wow, that's probably one of the cooler ones on my list.
So T-Pain built his success off the back of the oil industry.
Correct.
Right. Hey, here's the funny part, though. Have you ever heard him sing without auto-tune? It's gorgeous.
Insanely good.
It's amazing. Everybody thought he was just, he just used auto-tune. No. Yeah. He didn't have to.
Oh yeah.
Auto-tune did Britney Spears a favor, though.
Well, among others, yeah.
Yeah, not just Britney, but I mean, she's the one I think that got the most famously busted for that technology. But hey, whatever. I mean,
wasn't she like really bad about lip syncing her concerts too?
Yeah.
Right. And I was getting ready to mention, what is it, Milli Vanilli and Jessica Simpson's sister?
Oh, yeah. What is her
Two of
name?
them had big controversies about lip syncing.
Yeah. Oh, Milli Vanilli just got busted like all the way around. Not only were they lip syncing, it wasn't even their voices they were lip syncing to.
That's even better.
You're right. Those two guys that you like, the images that conjure up in your head when you think about that group, that was not their voices, and they were lip syncing. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Is it Ashley Simpson?
Is that her name?
I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever. Fact checkers.
I'm saying yes. Oh yeah. Get on that.
So I have one.
All right.
Do you know what the bottom drawer of your oven is supposed to be?
Yes.
It's not storage for pots and pans, I can tell you that.
Not.
Wasn't it supposed to be like a food warmer or something?
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
warming drawer.
Yeah.
Well, if you believe
perfect
Futurama, it's so that you can soak your feet as you be standing in front of the oven all day.
Sure.
There's a really good bit about that. They travel back in time, and he's like, there's a foot soaking bath here in the bottom as you'll be standing in front of this oven all day. She's just like, what?
But yeah, it's meant to keep food warm or proof bread.
Proof bread?
Proof
Oh,
bread,
I didn't.
bread dough.
I did. Yeah.
I proof bread every day.
I didn't know that part. Huh.
It's not for cookie sheet storage.
Well, that's what I use mine for, and muffin
Every-
tins.
I think that's what 100% of people use it for.
Yeah, me too. Well, because they make ovens with bona fide warming. I mean, I'm not saying that's not bona fide, but like, never mind.
I gotcha.
Did you guys know that the Secret Service was originally established to fight counterfeit U.S. currency?
Only
Yes.
because I think we've been over that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think-
its original purpose wasn't to necessarily defend diplomats, but during the Civil War, it was estimated that 1/3 to over a half of United States currency in circulation was counterfeit, and of course, during the Civil War, it threatened the financial stability of the country, so something needed to be done about it. It was April 14th, 1865, that President Abraham Lincoln established the United States Secret Service.
Well, there you go. So we'll shift gears a little bit. Do you guys know that Kotex was originally bandaging in the war,
Mhm.
but it was made out of it. It was a Kimberly-Clark product even back then. But it was made from a new material called cellulose, and it was so absorbent that it was nurses in the Red Cross that determined, hey, this stuff is so absorbent, we might could use this for another use. And then once the war had ended, there wasn't like a big demand for surgical bandages at that point. And they decided to give the new product the name Kotex because it was short for cotton texture.
Natural.
And then they purposely rebranded it and were very public about, you're still supporting the efforts, or, here this new product came as a result of war and this is a good thing for women, or they were very misogynistic about it. But
Well,
I was
and
like,
if I remember correctly, it's because they had a lot left over, and they're like, what else can we do with this? And they found out that nurses at the hospitals were
Yeah.
using them as lady products.
Yeah, it was specifically the Red Cross nurses, and they were just like, yeah. And so Kimberly Clark was like, okay, good. We're going to like start this whole campaign how we're like for women and look at this great thing that came out of the war for women. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just a little bit of a disconnect there, but clearly it didn't hurt the sales because everybody knows what a Kotex is.
Exactly.
Sanitary napkin. Please.
So you mentioned in the intro chainsaws.
It did. It's really unfortunate.
So right before this, my wife was kind of reading over it, and she was like, "What the hell?"
Mhm.
So
I told my wife, and she was just like, "Ugh."
In the 18th century, two Scottish doctors came up with the prototype of the modern day chainsaw that was designed as a surgical tool to aid in case of a difficult childbirth.
Mhm.
What?
It was used to cut through the pelvis, removing bone-like tissue.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, dude.
Wow. Thank God they've come up with better tools because I had 2 difficult deliveries.
Yep.
Yeah, you're
The
welcome.
chainsaw is listed as a medical breakthrough.
Oh my God. Not really sure I agree with that.
Oh my god.
Holy Manetti.
Quite unfortunate.
Yeah. Well, and chainsaws only became relevant because people just wanted a faster way to cut trees down for the logging industry.
Well, let me just tell you, after this last week or so, I am eternally grateful for the invention of chainsaws. As you know, we have been cutting up 100-year-old trees that were taken out during Milton, and yay for the sanitation people or the large debris removal team or whatever they're called who finally came through today and picked up everything. It took 4 different trucks, but yay.
Well, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and back to the intro as promised, slinkies were actually meant to be used as springs inside boats.
Yeah.
There apparently was very sensitive devices that a spring would work at, or rather a slinky would work as a pretty effective spring. He discovered accidentally, this is mechanical engineer Richard James, accidentally knocked over one of these, quote, slinkies, and he watched in amazement as they gracefully walked down instead of falling. And so I guess it was his wife Betty that pushed him to make this a novelty toy.
And who doesn't love a slinky?
Everybody loves a slinky, 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 go, slinky, go!
They're just like, it's like
We do Ace
mind-numbing-
Ventura quotes on this show.
They're just like mind-numbing amazement of like,
Yeah,
it's
dude.
not anything fancy, but it's just like, oh, monkey brain.
Yeah. Okay then. Well, here's another one. I think most people who've done any bit of this type of research probably know, but I love this stuff. Love it. I love when I get a package and this stuff is in there, but bubble wrap was originally marketed as wallpaper.
Wallpaper.
So I'm like obsessed with, and I like the bubble wrap that's the big fat bubbles, you know, and I'll just like roll it up and twist the whole thing. And it's just like pop, 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 pop. But if that were on like my wallpaper would be ruined. But in 1957, there were 2 engineers, Fielding and Chavanez, I believe is how you pronounce it. They sealed together 2 shower curtains. And it created these little air pockets. And so that was the bubble. And they tried to market that as wallpaper. And when that was unsuccessful, they then tried to market it as greenhouse insulation. And then somewhere along in there, about 1960, they figured out, wait, we can use this as protective wrap or packaging, and thus became bubble wrap.
Well, and it was specifically IBM that
IBM was their
that
first
they
client.
approached.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why did they try to seal 2 shower curtains together?
They did. They like fused these 2 shower curtains together and it created little air bubbles.
But for what
You
reason?
gotta wonder what the point of that was.
Because they were trying to create
Why-
wallpaper. Keep
Why
up.
would you want plastic wallpaper?
I don't know. That's
Dexter would love it.
Right, exactly. Oh, I love that show.
Yeah, that's fair. Easy to clean, I guess. That's actually a good justification for that. Good,
I
easy to clean
guess.
blood off.
Why not just hang a shower curtain then? Why do you have to fuse two of them together?
Kill
That's
too
what
many
I
guys in your living room. Why don't you
right.
get plastic
Right.
wallpaper?
Then you need plastic wallpaper. Boy, do we have the thing for you.
Be sure to
It-
take them to your Meemaw's house because there's already plastic on the furniture.
on the furniture, right? Yep.
So-
Is your favorite pastime dismembering your neighbors? Yeah. Think
Okay.
not.
So, sticking in like the wallpaper industry, weirdly enough, Play-Doh was invented to clean coal residue off of wallpaper.
Yes,
Off
it
of
was.
wallpaper.
Yeah.
Now it's a good dinner.
Well,
Very
so
salty.
it is very salty because when I was a kid, I don't remember if you guys had these or not, but we had this little thing that looked like a doorstop with it, like the triangle kind of doorstop
Mhm.
with a handle on it. And you put these different cartridges on the front of it, and they were different shapes like circles, squares, stars. And you would shove the Play-Doh in the opening on the other side and like push the handle down, and it would squeeze the Play-Doh through the little plate and make it into a shape.
it
It was like,
spaghetti.
oh, cool. Yeah. So it was like, oh, I got star shaped. And then Play-Doh came out with these little plastic knives so you could like cut them into pieces. And now you got little pieces of star Play-Doh. And then it came out with, you could make it look like spaghetti. And so then, of course, you know, you're
Everyone tried it.
You're
Be
5
honest.
or 6 years old and you've made Play-Doh spaghetti. You taste it.
Mhm.
Disgusting.
I know of some people that will appreciate this, but paintball guns were actually invented to mark trees for trimming or cutting down. So what would happen is loggers would go through the forest and they would paint on the tree, like by hand on each one. So paintball guns were actually used to mark them from a distance, so they didn't have to travel as far.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
Laziness.
That makes total sense though, because yeah, I'll see them with the, like you can see with the marks or those
Mm-hmm.
that material that's like the stretchy plastic and they tie on them.
Right. Yeah. Apparently, some people call them markers to avoid the stigma of the word gun. It's just too hot. Can't do it.
Right? Yeah, I could see that.
Pew, pew.
Yeah. Apparently, the loggers would get bored and just start shooting each other with them. Thus, the pastime was born.
Fair enough.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I could totally see that.
Men alone in the forest. Of course, you would start shooting each other.
Goodness. Well, okay, so here's one that I found interesting because when I think about how this had to have worked, it's just excruciating. But I think about what it's used for now, and I'm like, oh yeah, so it's deadening, right? So the original use for a corkscrew was to retract bullets
Oh, I didn't
from
know
the
that.
body. And I'm like,
Well,
are you serious? Yeah. It says the kitchen fixture known all around the world came into prominence for an entirely different purpose. In the 17th century, an early form of this device was known as the gun worm and was used on battlefields to remove unspent bullets stuck in the barrel of a musket.
yeah.
So, but when I first started reading this, I was like, they're corkscrewing bullets out of people's bodies. But then I'm like, but then you corkscrew and you drink your wine and you don't really care. And so it just kind of was like a weird dichotomy in my head. But then as I read on and realized, okay, they're really not corkscrewing into people's flesh.
Oh, no, they did.
No?
They would use it for that too. So I
Oh,
think we
God.
read the same exact article because it says unspent bullets stuck in the barrel of a musket. In some cases, they were also used to extract bullets from wounds, especially those lodged deep in the bone or muscle.
Oh, God. I can't.
Yeah.
That's almost as bad as chainsaws and childbirth. Thanks,
Mhm.
but no thanks.
Well, ironically, chainsaws would be more prevalent if we did have that plastic wallpaper.
Well, true. I mean, at least it'd be easy cleanup on
Right.
aisle 3. God.
So I have one that's a little bit of a stretch, but it relates to Mom's past. I was kind of explaining
Oh.
to her before. NASCAR.
Oh.
Now, while the actual NASCAR as a whole wasn't around for the beginning part of it, it came from moonshiners. So
Yeah.
what they would do is they would soup up cars.
Surprise.
Right. They would soup up cars so they could get away with their moonshine and not be caught. And it soon grew into something larger and began the races on the beach down in Daytona, where speed was born. And not soon after that, NASCAR was formed and started racing.
What does NASCAR stand for? Anything?
It does.
It does stand for something.
It stands for a thing.
It does.
What does it stand for?
National Association Stock Car
Auto racing?
something race auto racing. Yeah. So interesting fact. Clearly, I live at the beach, and hurricanes are just a fact of life. So 2 years ago, we got hit with some hurricanes as well, and there was a lot of beach erosion in the south end of Daytona into Daytona Shores, which is where those beach races originally took place, and they unearthed a portion of the old grandstands. Just the erosion, the sand and stuff. Yeah, it was a whole big deal, and that somebody had to come out and dig it out, and now they've moved it to the museum at the Speedway. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, like every good Southern pastime, it originated because of alcohol.
Because of alcohol, right? Right, run and shine. Here comes my dinner. Hold on. Delivery. All right, thanks, babe. Appreciate it.
Good morning.
Kid said hey.
Hello, hi.
He said hello, hi, but y'all heard that.
So, back on the law enforcement tip, the ATF, or the Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms Bureau, was established. Yeah, right. Was established in 1972. Almost like I would say a good portion of people I talk to have no idea about this, but the ATF is actually an extension of the Internal Revenue Service,
Which is so weird.
which is so weird.
What?
Yeah. Well, okay, so they were, right? That was their original functions, was to make sure that people were paying taxes on their guns and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
That
So-
makes sense.
In 2002, though, Homeland Security Act transferred some of the ATF's function over to the Department of Justice. But it does say it transferred some, so I guess you can put them as a dual function, like the IRS and Homeland.
Yeah, because I think they still enforce like the dock stamps and stuff on alcohol and the taxation.
Mm-hmm.
So
not Department of Homeland Security, Department of Justice. Sorry.
So if I don't pay taxes on a gun, they're gonna kick down my door, shoot my dog, and demand I give them money.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, pretty much.
Some of the most widely known massacres involved the ATF, and specifically taxation of weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't it the ATF at the Waco siege?
Yep, I was
There
just
you
getting ready to
go.
say
That's
that.
the one.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah. Yep.
just getting ready to say that.
Yeah.
This is so weird to me because they were also involved in the Ruby Ridge incident,
Mm-hmm.
and it was what the worst part about it is the same team from Ruby Ridge was running point at Waco.
At Waco.
The same team. it
Y'all know how I love a good conspiracy theory, especially
Hey.
like true crime and stuff.
Oh, dude, yeah.
We pay those people salaries.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Let's rephrase that. We're forced to pay their salaries.
Right.
Taxation is theft. Anyways, so
Bold takes.
so it stands to reason, given that Papa Monkey is a physician, I have something that comes from the medical field, and this one just kind of blew my mind. I don't know how I didn't know this, because there's been someone in my life who took this medication for the variety of these reasons. So warfarin, which is a medication that is used as an anticoagulant. I don't do phonetics. And it's commonly prescribed for people to treat like blood clots or deep vein thrombosis, pulmonary embolisms, that sort of stuff, prevent stroke, AFib, yada, 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 heart disease. But it was originally designed as rat poison.
Yeah, boy.
Like, let that sink in, right? Because it would get into the blood of the vermin, as the article said, and it would stop their blood from clotting and kill them. Yeah. I know, right? I'm like, God, how sick is that?
So that's along the same lines as like penicillin or antivenom, right? Those things come from things you would never expect.
Wasn't penicillin from like mold?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, they like drip down through the lab or whatever.
Well, and who would think that venom would create antivenom? No.
There's a good portion of the population that's allergic to penicillin.
And in turn are allergic to shellfish.
One of your children is allergic
to penicillin. Yes, wayward monkey. Oldest monkey. Deathly allergic to penicillin.
Well, don't tell people how to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm going to keep it rolling with motorsports.
Oh, okay.
Least, cars. I think this is one that most car people will know. Lamborghini started off by making tractors, which they were wildly successful at.
All right, I did know that.
I mean, there's a whole movie on it too, but they were wildly successful at tractors. And then one day he was like, "Hey, Ferrari, you want to make a car together?" And Ferrari was like, "No,
tractor boy."
Oh, you ugly tractor nerd.
Yeah, so he went and made a car that beat Ferrari for a little bit because Ferrari was a little bit of a dick.
Yeah, well.
Well, just to jump back on the medicine tip real quick, Viagra was originally a blood pressure medication. It gives some blood pressure, all right.
Right. I'm like, I'm not really sure how that's supposed to work.
Well, if you want it to elevate in a very localized region.
Well, no, it takes the blood from the rest of your body and puts it in one spot.
There you go.
I've always wondered, and I'm not going to say always, but I've wondered, what happens if a woman takes Viagra?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know, but I found it, maybe somebody should do some research. It won't be me.
Yeah, let us know on social media.
What happens if
oh, no.
But I had read something about Viagra as well, and I just found it interesting that the article I read was like, watch any sporting event and you're bound to see a commercial for Viagra. And I'm like, okay. And so I started thinking in my head, and I'm like, you know what? You're right. You do see Viagra commercials.
Well, it's primarily men that watch. So
right.
So it will increase blood flow to the genitals that may help increase sensitivity, arousal, and make the ending a lot better. But
you're welcome, ladies.
Your hormones.
Well, but do what, Hayden?
It also messes with your hormones.
Oh.
Hey, it's a calculated risk.
Can you talk about all that stuff with your mom?
I just did.
Oh, okay, your mom's pretty dope.
I didn't use the word that it said. I just said the ending time.
Right.
I feel weird saying that other word.
Orgasm?
Arrival.
The climax.
Climax?
I'm arriving.
All right, next fact.
Oh, let's stick with the nether regions.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Lysol.
Oh.
Lysol was originally marketed as a feminine hygiene product, more specifically a vaginal douche.
Wrapped up like douche.
I'm like, excuse me? Yeah, the article I read was like, yep, you heard that right. At the time, oral contraceptives have not yet been invented and condoms were too expensive for the average person. So Lysol was adopted as a relatively cheaper and easily accessible option. Excuse me?
I'm just ended up with a cleft palate.
Right. It's a blueberry under my tongue.
It's easier.
Like,
why would you
listen.
spray that down there?
So here was my question. So I was a child of the 70s, right? And so, okay, we're about to really go off the rails here.
Lovely.
So my grandmother used to have, whenever I would spend summers at her house, they only had one bathroom in their house because, we're talking about back in the 70s. And in the shower, there was always this thing hanging over the rod. And I'm like, what is that? Right? So it was a douche bag or an enema bag or whatever you want to call it. And I was like, and so, us kids would get together and talk about what that is. And somebody sort of knew, and then you do it this and you stick it there and then it does this. And I'm just like, oh my God, I'm terrified. Right. And now I don't want to get in the shower because I'm like, ew.
Yeah.
So move along like into the 80s. And now comes Summer's Eve, and you can buy a floral scented douche in the supermarket. I'm just like, what?
Sometimes you can find douches on like the roadways. Or in
That's where I find them.
stores.
That's where I find them all the time. But I just
I'm looking at 2 of them.
But as a young person, as a young female, I couldn't figure out what the purpose of that was. And they're like, well, it's to be clean. And I'm like, what? Like, yeah, no. I never understood that. But then, of course, as I got older and you start gynecological care, my GYN was like, no, you don't need to do that. Your body takes care of itself. And I'm like, oh, I'm a fan of that. So
It's like it's designed a specific way.
right. I'm definitely not douching with Lysol.
It cleans everything else.
Apparently.
Hayden, what do you say? Next fact.
Next. So, we all know Samsung, right?
Yeah, just about everything I own. They
They
make.
make TVs, tablets, smartwatches, phones, anything electronic. Well, they originally exported noodles and dry fish.
What? Like fish jerky?
I guess, yeah.
That's what it sounds like.
That sounds
they began,
gross.
They began as a trading company, shifting noodles to China and Japan from Korea.
How do you go from that to electronics?
God only knows, because they were formed in like the 1800s, so I would assume it's just moving along with the times. But like, how are you around for at least 60, 70, 80 years of just shipping
Fish and
from being
noodles.
a trading company to like, we're gonna make a TV now?
Speaking of TVs, isn't Samsung the one who has the new frame TV?
It's not new, but yeah.
Those things are badass.
Yeah, but they give you this like 4-foot box that you have to hide.
Yeah, I was watching a TikTok or a reel or something about somebody installing one, and I was just like, dang, you got to cut a big hole in the wall and put all that stuff in it.
They're kind of cool in the fact that
Very cool.
like you can pick up one end and it like bends, but like nothing in it breaks. Like they're meant to be a little flexible.
I just thought it was super cool. But then I looked up how much they cost, and I went, not that cool.
Right. Every time I see a review for like a Samsung phone, I'm like, I might get rid of my iPhone for a Samsung. And then I go, I could never do that.
No, because then you can't pew pew.
Well, not even that. It's just like, I've only ever really had iPhones.
Yeah. Well, I'm not getting rid of my iPhone because I can't pew pew. I do love the pew pew. It's my favorite because it's the only one I can remember how to do.
Do you know what that is, Jason?
Yeah, when you do that, we talked about this before. When you do the
Yeah.
gun thing on.
Well, I do the finger guns, but it's really lasers on the iPhone.
Yeah, I remember because you ruined it.
Mhm.
All right. So, does everyone know what gastrin is?
No.
What?
It's a hormone that helps with digestion. It's released by cells in the stomach, duodenum, and pancreas.
Does it make
To
me
help
That-
break
what-
down
what-
food.
Hold on. What was the middle word?
Duodenum. That's
What the
in
hell
your
is-
butt.
So it makes me fart.
Well, I don't know, but
Wait,
Never
your your duodenum is in your butt?
duodenum. It's part of your
Duodenum.
what the hell's the word?
anus, sphincter, colon.
It's part of your digestive system.
You said butt.
Yep.
Same difference.
All roads lead to the same place. You know what I mean? So, gastrin helps break down food in the stomach lining. So, does everyone know what a tetrapeptide is?
Dude, you're just making shit up now.
Right. Like, have you been in Papa Monkey's medical books? Because
No,
what?
He's over here just making up words, seeing how far he can go before we call him out.
So, a tetrapeptide is a molecule made up of 4 amino acids linked together by peptide bonds.
Bro.
The reason those two things are important
I was about to say, why do we care?
is because aspartame was discovered in 1965 by James M. Shatler.
Slater, slaughter.
One of those words is correct. So,
Take your pick.
Schlater had synthesized aspartame as an immediate step in generating a tetrapeptide of the hormone gastrin for uses in assessing an anti-ulcer drug candidate. Right? So how he realized it can be used as an artificial sweetener is he discovered the sweet taste when he licked his finger to flip a page. So
Oh, God.
it became an artificial sweetener after that.
And let's be clear, it tastes like ass, so
Isn't
I
that
get
the-
it.
That's
isn't
why
that the
they
one-
call it aspartame.
Isn't that the one that's full of like carcinogens and stuff?
Oh,
Yeah.
There's
Well,
who knows?
And if it's associated with a butt, that's why it tastes like ass. God, that stuff is nasty.
Sorry. Well, you're welcome for the science lesson.
Right? I know.
That's
I'm
about
like,
as smart as the monkeys are gonna get. Just
My
Been
head
done with
hurts
school
now.
for a while now, man.
my head hurts. What? Well, I'm gonna do the obvious one. Coca-Cola,
Mm,
because it's got cocaine in it. It's anesthesia.
yeah, boy.
I mean, it doesn't have cocaine in it anymore.
It did.
It did.
It did.
I mean, it did. And if you ask the kid at my Publix, he'll tell you the Mexican Coca-Cola still has cocaine in it. So go get you some of that.
Nope. It has cane
Uh-huh.
sugar.
Yeah, it
That's
has
what
real
I
sugar.
said. I'm
So-
like,
So interestingly enough, that name actually comes from the fact that cocaine came from cocoa leaves, and then caffeine came from cola nuts, so Coca-Cola.
Ah,
Yeah.
Go
The
check that
cacao
out.
plant.
go check that out.
Coke was also a cure for addiction to morphine, indigestion, nerve disorders, headaches, and impotence.
So it was.
And today it causes all of that crap.
Yeah, exactly.
I was about to say it was basically alcohol, but not.
Yeah.
But not, right?
Have you ever seen those videos where they pour it out on like a rusty bumper and go take a wire brush to it?
So
Yeah, or like on your battery post. Yeah.
So after my grandparents' house flooded during Harvey, we went over there and cleared a bunch of stuff out, and we found a toolbox that was my granddad's. And everything had started to rust. We were like, all right, we'll take this back and try to like clean them up for him. And we were sitting there for like hours just scrubbing it with a wire brush and stuff. And finally, my dad went to the store, came back with 2 liters of Coke, poured it in a bin, and said, "Put them in there. We'll deal with it tomorrow."
Yup.
Right.
Rust
Yeah.
came right off the next day.
So, for all the rust in your stomach, just drink Coke.
Just drink Coke. Yeah.
If y'all had to guess when the treadmill was invented, what year would you say?
1892.
1739.
Treadmills were originally invented in the 1st century
Shut your
Brother.
hole.
Okay, so like a prehistoric version.
by the ancient Romans, which they used them to manipulate heavy objects. And during the 19th century, they were used as a punishment for prisoners.
Get on the treadmill and run.
And also they were used for the purposes of grinding grain and pumping water. So basically like how a windmill would, but instead you stand on it, hold a bar, and
Oh, yeah, that
Run
makes
on
sense.
Yeah, when you break
like-
it down, it's just a simple tool.
it wasn't like a
Right.
belt over end like you think of now. It was a giant like flat wheel.
Mm-hmm.
that was kind of
Oh,
angled, so
okay,
you were
yeah.
kind of like climbing up steps.
Got it.
It's
Yeah.
like one of those things on the playground that used to like make you dizzy as all get out.
Yeah.
A merry-go-round.
No.
That's
it
what they're
was-
called.
No,
Well, it
no,
was the-
no. The
That was the
the
big
metal
circle
thing
thing
with
with the
few
metal
bars
bars
that you would spin.
that people would go flying
Oh,
off of.
yes.
Yeah,
I know
dude.
what you're talking about now.
I
Uh-huh.
had so much fun on
God,
those things.
speaking of spinning around, Hayden, we were at Disney a couple weekends ago, and we walked by the teacups, and Don was like, "You want to ride the teacups?" And I'm like, no. I can't get on those things after you and I did it. And every once in a while, I'll run across that video. We must have been doing 50 miles an hour. Hayden is
Dude,
just
I was
steady
spinning the shit out of us.
All right. And I finally was like, stop. That was hysterical.
So Kleenex, the original purpose was to act as insulation and gas masks during World War One. After the war, its parent company advertised it as a way to remove makeup.
Because of all the
Oh.
mustard gas.
Yeah, boy.
That was very quickly made illegal in warfare.
Mm.
Yeah.
So when they drop the nukes, I just need to have a bunch of Kleenexes.
Yeah, I think so. I think it'd be all right.
Cool.
So I think everybody had this as a kid too. Silly putty.
Yeah. My dog ate
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, that's right.
He was pooping red for days.
Yeah. Well, it was
Buddy
never
ate
meant.
the silly putty.
Buddy ate the putty. Well, it was never meant to be a toy. It was originally designed because the Allies had cut off the Japanese supply lines and they could no longer get rubber products. And so they created this as a synthetic. It was a failed attempt, I guess, at a synthetic rubber. But what I found interesting about it is, it found its way into being a toy. And we just talked about this on the last episode. It was on Apollo 8 and the astronauts used it to secure their tools in zero gravity.
Must have been before Velcro.
I guess.
Very cool.
Wasn't Velcro like invented specifically for astronauts?
Don't know.
Fact checker.
This is a current episode about the original intent of things. So now would be the time to find that out. While you're doing that, I'm just going to throw out real quick that Netflix used to just be mail order movies.
Just mail order movies. That's how it was when it first came. God, and you would wait and wait. And it was the DVDs, and then you'd have to return them before you could get another one. And yeah, but it was way cooler than going to Blockbuster because it would just come in the mail. You didn't have to go deal with people.
Although Netflix actually is considering brick and mortar stores for some reason.
I read that.
I don't know if that's true or not, but I definitely saw an article like that.
Yeah, I did read that because I was kind of like, huh? What? I mean,
we're reverting.
Well, but let's be all old things become new again, right? But let's be serious. There's nothing to watch on Netflix.
So it was not invented specifically for that, nor was it invented by NASA, which apparently is a common misconception. It was invented by a Swiss engineer who wanted to imitate burrs in nature, like how they stick to your clothes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I was really hoping he was doing it so he didn't have to tie his shoes anymore.
Maybe. All right.
Y'all so funny.
I got one more for us.
Got it.
Okay.
Nintendo. The Mario gaming consoles like the Wii and the Switch and the N64. While they've been around since the 1800s, clearly video games and stuff haven't, but they did kind of start in that same field where they used to make playing cards.
Interesting.
Playing cards like
bicycle.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah, like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
5, 6, 7, 8. Right, I'm with
ace.
you. Sorry, I'm a little slow.
Hearts, spade, diamonds.
Yeah.
Well, the reason you feel slow is because they still make cards.
Right. Right.
They just make them with Mario and stuff on them.
Right.
Right.
Well, that was
Yes.
fun, huh?
That was fun and funny.
Funny.
Funny. You know what else is funny?
I do know what else is funny. Do you know what else is funny?
I think I do. Is it Monkey
Mischief.
Yeah.
Yes. And if you don't know what we're talking about, it means you don't follow us on social media. You should go take care of that straight away right now. And while you're doing
now.
Yeah. And while you're doing that, also subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your favorite podcast.
And subscribe.
Anyhow, so
only where you get your favorite podcast, not where you
just
get
your favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't like the podcast, don't go there to look for Monkeys Unfiltered, but we are on every platform out there. So go find us.
Probably be there too.
Right. But Monkey Mischief involves
Yeah, it's already funny. She not even told the joke yet.
Oh, I'm just laughing at you too. Monkey Mischief involve
Vicious monkey.
Yes, tiny babies. Anyways, Monkey Mischief involves the beginning of a dad joke on Monday on our Facebook page, where you are invited to drop your best guess in the comments. And then you join us here on Wednesdays for the punchline to just see if you were right, wrong, or just didn't care. But if you joined us on Monday, you would have seen what do you
Oh, man.
I love it when she gets like this. Yes.
Please stand by.
Somebody hit the reset button. What do you call a teacher who won't fart in public?
Oh, God.
A teacher that won't fart in public.
Yes. What do you call them?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
A private tutor.
Oh, good Lord. That is weak.
That's funny.
That is funny, though.
That is funny. That is funny.
Lord.
If you think that you have a dad joke that is worthy of Monkey Mischief, please visit us at www.monkeysunfiltered.com. There's a submission form near the bottom of the page. And if you submit a joke that is selected to be voiced on air, Hayden, what do they get?
A motherfucking sticker.
Yes, we will send you a Monkeys Unfiltered sticker.
Sneaky.
Sticker. What are we looking at? Oh,
Teen.
Tina.
That thing's
You're getting the eyeball from your dog.
That's our real producer right there.
Yeah, right, because she's calling time because she got to poop.
Well, this was fun. I'm glad that you guys were able to take some of your time, of which you have little, to devote to this project.
I got none but time, buddy.
Hope
Yay.
everybody enjoyed these fun facts and the original intent behind some of common household items and whatnot these days.
Don't put Lysol in your vagina.
Don't do it.
Yeah, do whatever you want, but don't say we told you, because we didn't.
Because we didn't. We did not. We did. It doesn't cure COVID either. Don't do that. And, I was thinking too, we invite them to like follow us on social media, drop their guests for Monkey Mischief or whatever. But if there's a topic you guys want to hear us chat about in our own monkey way, you can certainly drop that in the submission form on the website as well, or just drop it in social. Send us a private message, whatever, because we're always looking for new and interesting things to chat about.
Heck yeah. No, and if we care enough, we'll be back here next week. And
I'll be here.
You will be too.
I'll be here. I care greatly.
I keep showing up, so.
And I'm grateful.
I'm only here because I have no friends.
There you go. Perfect.
I'm just here.
Sorry,
for the
Josh. Sorry,
I'm just here. Yeah, I'm just here for the paycheck.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, you get what you pay for, right?
Big old check. All right.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye. fuck is my mouse?